YouTube, what you doing here? I know. I haven't done a video in a very long time, and I'm sorry for that. I'll explain myself why. I'm very sorry. I know. You don't have to yell. I'll do it. Okay, let's do a YouTube video right now. Okay, YouTube, put down the gun, YouTube. Okay, we'll right now. I don't have any notes, but we'll do it. Okay. Anyways, I know, I know, I'm bad. Look, I decided to take the summer off of work and from YouTube to dedicate time specifically to my family. You know, I taught my son a few things about sword fighting to help him focus, because in swordsmanship of all the martial arts is perhaps the most mental, or at least a close second. And my son had some focusing issues and a little bit of trouble last year with staying on point and some behavioral issues. You know, you're a little kid, you want to goof off, it's the way it is. You know, my son played baseball, we went and saw Mount Rushmore, which I don't really want to talk about because that's not a place I ever wanted to go for lots of different varying reasons, and I'm sure there are a lot of you who will yell at me for that simple statement, but I'm sure in another video we will get to that subject matter. It's just, I have very specific beliefs, and for me, Mount Rushmore is a catch-22. So, what else did we do this summer? We went camping recently, which was a fiasco. We forgot a lot of things that are necessary to make camping comfortable, like ketchup and seasonings. Yeah, I ended up having to use my personal seasonals, which, you know, there are these, if I had it with me I'd show you. One was an old cinnamon container that those itty bitty little round plastic cinnamon containers, which I scrubbed out and ran through the dishwasher, and I put garlic salt in it, because if I'm going to take salt, it's not going to be plain salt. Out into the woods, it's not going to be plain salt. Some cayenne, they're these little, like, I need to do a video on them, they're just awesome. They have 3 sections in these itty bitty little things where you can put seasonings, and you get to have those flavors available to, I think I already did that, to season up your meat. And I have those in my go bag, which has basically become my haversack, but if I hadn't brought those, we wouldn't have had food that had any flavor at all whatsoever. You know, we needed some things we forgot to bring, but we had a good time regardless. We just sort of hung out, enjoyed ourselves, rested a bit, worked a bit. It was a good time regardless. But anyways, I'm sure you're wondering what the latest Star Citizen news is. I don't really do that yet. I will tell you that I do have plans. I know my channel is a little rambly, and I know my channel is a little eclectic for everybody. It's just how I've always been and how I will always live. I am eclectic. I listen to classical music, I listen to country music, I listen to heavy metal, I listen to what is that called? Hip hop. I listen to a wide variety of musics. I live a very eclectic life. I'm a writer. Since I was 7 years old, I have been practicing swordsmanship. I have to be very careful about this area. Give me a half second, okay? Just making sure. Earlier tonight there was an alarm here. And I just want to really make sure that there are no douchebags here. You know how I am with douchebags and douchebaggery. I just don't like it. You know, I'm a game developer, I'm a writer, I'm a swordsman, I'm a poet. I'm a lot of things in my life. You know, I've dedicated my life to a wide variety of things, and sometimes I allow myself to forget that. But really and truly, my life has always been eclectic, and that is the reason why my channel is so eclectic. We're almost done with this area, and then I can turn the light back on. So I kind of want to talk about the plans that I have for YouTube in the future. I do have plans, and there are things that I do want to do. Oof, I may need to think about getting gas here soon. But I haven't really gotten around to it yet. And the reason why is because I'm not very program or technologically savvy. One of the things that I would like to do is I would like to start doing videos on the subject of the video games that I play. But as opposed to just talking at you about stuff, I would really like to show those games, because not everybody plays every game in the world, and honestly I think that you would enjoy some of the things that I try to do with Skyrim. I play Skyrim not for the sake of Skyrim. I don't care about that. I care for the sake of the builds. I lost my old computer. I was not able to play my games on the computer or do the other various things that I do on a computer. And so I was in a sort of stuck place where I didn't really have the ability to do anything. I was doing YouTube videos off of my phone and my phone alone, which I'm doing right now. And that's not enough for me. I have to find a program and learn how to use that program appropriately. Close your damn windows. Yes, I'm on the same site. Summer later. And be able to share some of the experiences that I have and what I find humorous. My son is a Minecraft nut, and you know, each to their own, especially where gaming is concerned. Yeah. And I do want to continue talking about the system that I built for my tabletop role-playing games. It's just the last time I tried to do that, my thoughts weren't exactly coordinated, and so there really was no way to talk to you about it. I kind of got lost in that video, like, but oh, what the hell do I say now? Sort of a situation. Excuse me. I just need to properly educate myself before I start to do that. I don't really want to talk about Star Citizen anymore without actually being in the video game and you seeing what I'm doing in the video game, and I have to figure out how to appropriately do that. And it may take me a minute, but I will work it out. I think my computer may have a program, but I don't exactly know how to use it yet, and it's going to take a little time. Wow, that's really vibrating. Break is off, so... Looks like the rain is starting to come in again. I need to go this way this time. There are some areas here where I kind of have to choose a path and kind of go back and forth. Oh, what else? One thing that I have consistently tried to do but have failed to do, probably due to a lack of knowledge, is to kind of have a community conversation on specific subject matters. But that never ends up happening, I think, because I try to do a video, here's the subject matter, let's talk. And no one really comments. I have no tolerance for douchebags and douchebaggery, which is the process of being a douchebag or conducting douchebag-like activities or douchebagisms. I know that every time I say something like that, it kind of puts people off. Oh, hey, I can't say anything because he might think that I'm a douchebag. Look, there's the difference between, and I know I've said this before, there is the difference between constructive criticism and communal conversation and being a douchebag, aka a troll. I don't have a problem with trolls in general, and the reason why is because it has the opposite effect that most trolls intend. As opposed to trolling or trollery spreading like a virus and everybody becoming an asshole, it does the opposite. Communities become more tight-knit. Respect becomes a greater thing. You just have to remember never to feed the trolls. And that is something that I have personally had a hard time remembering. Because I like to fight. I like to argue. I really do. However, as soon as I can figure out how to, we're going to be doing a lot of video game based videos. And it may seem like I'll veer away from a lot of these personal videos, and I don't want you to get offended by that, okay? It is a momentary break where I discuss the subject matter of these games, and I have a lot of games, and most of them suck, okay? In our time, and I know I've said this before, in our time, we have game developers who have taken it upon themselves to make very specific decisions. Namely, the decision as opposed to asking a fan, hey, what do you want to play? They ask themselves, hey, what do I want to play and how do I want to do it? I have played The Elder Scrolls Online, and as soon as I am capable, I want to do a video specific to that subject matter because it's not a functional game. Okay, and I know there are a lot of fans who'll be like, wait, I play all the time. It seems to function just fine. What I mean is, fans of the Elder Scrolls games since Morrowind expected a specific functionality. They expected the same sort of variety, the same kind of a game, basically, just in a multiplayer format. And when they did not receive that, fans of the Elder Scrolls were upset, and still are today. That's not lit. There we go. Don't bitch. Yes, I know I'm smoking again. I have plans to fix that. I don't like smoking any more than you like me smoking, so let's calm down. Anyways, basically, there were what I would refer to as errors in game development as far as Morrowind was concerned. However, there's always going to be errors in game development. There's always going to be an error in the way a game is developed. A beat that's missed, a thing that didn't get finished. For instance, the Mages College in Skyrim. That is a broken piece of shit that never was appropriately completed, and there is a lot of missing stuff. Hence the necessity for the cutting room floor mod. Anyways, the lessons from Morrowind were not learned when Oblivion was created. Both of them amazing games, but at the same time, there were errors that made them fairly broken. And I'll give an example here in a second. None of the lessons were learned from Oblivion when Skyrim was created. And none of the lessons from all three of those were learned when the Elder Scrolls Online was created, which is a completely alien thing in comparison to the whole and totality of the rest of the Elder Scrolls games. Allow me to give you an example. In Skyrim, we heard over and over and over and over again, what you hold in your hands is what you are. Well, if that's the case, why can't you block when you're holding a sword in one hand and a spell in the other? And once again, if you were to block, depending on which hand you were blocking with, I would presume with a alternate, like either Alt or another button that, I'm going to block and then I choose a hand, why then there would not be forms of blocking with either things. Let's say that you had an iron sword in one hand and flames in the others. When you go to power attack, you can't because you have two different implements in your hands. Yet no thought was given to the idea of combining the two. What if you have flames in one hand and an iron sword in the other, and all of a sudden you decide to power attack, and for the next 15 seconds you have a flaming sword that has both the effects of the sword and the spell. Mind you, not stacked, because that wouldn't be fair. More like divide by 2, round down, add both variables together, basically. It still would be more effective. Anyways, there's lots of plans for the future. I know I have not covered them all. I love you all. Have fun. We'll talk soon.